Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got the founder of the Baby Box, Monica Kelsey. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for taking the time.
Oh, you're welcome.
So I came across you on TikTok, the Baby Box. I was like, what is that? It intrigued me to see that people would put their baby in a box. So I wanted to know more about it, how it all came about.
Yeah. Well, with abandonments happening every 3 to 5 days in America where a baby is found left, this past week we've had 3 babies, one left on a hiking trail, one behind a shed, and one in a duffel bag. And so when you look at those cases and you think, why is this still happening? Having an alternative, and it might just be a box in the side of a fire station, seems like a pretty good idea.
Yeah, there was a case a year or two ago where they put a baby in a bag by the reservoir. How did this all come about?
Well, the safe haven law has been around for the last 25 years, where a parent can walk into any fire station or hospital, hand their child to a person, turn around and walk away, no questions asked. So the law has always been there. The baby box is just an extension of that. That still allows a parent to walk in and hand their child to a person if they want. But if they can't, for whatever reason, if they want anonymity, maybe it's a small community, maybe, their father's on the fire department. I don't know. But we have these boxes now which call 911 and allow them to do exactly what they've been doing for the last 25 years, except they can do it anonymously now, with a baby box. And, I was abandoned as an infant. 2 hours after my birth mom gave birth to me, she abandoned me. And so growing up adopted and finding out that I wasn't wanted as a newborn, as a child. And so allowing these parents to have an option of surrendering their child not only saves the parent from prosecution, but it saves the child's life.
Is that why these mothers do this? Is because they'll be prosecuted, things like that?
Well, some of these babies do have drugs in their system. And we all know that if you have a child that is addicted to drugs, they're going to take that child from you. And if there's more kids at home, they're going to take those kids as well. And so some of these babies do have drugs in their system. Some of it's economic, some of it's financial, but at the end of the day, no matter what her reasoning is, she's keeping her child safe. I mean, even if she's placing this child in the arms of a firefighter to surrender, or placing her, newborn in a box to surrender, it's still a good thing because she's saving the life of her child, and she's not going to be prosecuted for abandonment or killing her infant. Like the baby that was found in the bag, last year in your area.
So, how did you find out that you were abandoned as a baby? Did your adoptive parents tell you?
Well, so my adoptive parents were told when they adopted me that my birth parents were young in love and couldn't care for me, so they placed me for adoption. And that was what they told my adoptive parents back in the day, because they wanted to protect me from the reality of in which I was, brought into this world. And so I actually stumbled upon and found my biological mother by accident. And so getting to meet her kind of opened up the reality of me being abandoned as an infant. And so getting to know her also gave me the empathy that I needed to work with women today. We don't know their stories. We don't know what pain they're in. We don't know what crisis they're in. But what we do know is that if you give them a safe option, that they don't have to talk to someone and they don't have to look at someone, that they'll save the life of their child. They won't throw this child away. I mean, we have 241 active baby boxes in America right now. And the cities and the states that have baby boxes are not having abandoned baby problems. We actually, 2 days ago, had a baby in our box in Tennessee, or I'm sorry, in Kentucky. And so the locations that have the baby boxes, they're getting, babies, and the places that don't have baby boxes are finding abandoned babies all over this country. And so we're working hard every single day to make sure that mothers have this option. And again, it's just an option. They don't have to use it. We're just saying it's here if you need it.
Yeah. And there's people to adopt these kids, right?
There's actually a waiting list for safe haven babies. In the state of Indiana, there's over 200 families waiting to adopt a safe haven baby. And so every state is like that. Every state has a list. And these babies are adopted very quickly. No baby lingers in foster care. I hate it when people say, oh, these babies are just entering the system. And it's like, no, they're not. They're, there's so many families that want infants today that these babies are not just sitting. They're getting adopted very, very quickly.
So how did this all transpire in your life? Like, what was your background before you got into this?
Well, I never wanted to be the baby box lady of America, but here I am rocking it. I actually, when I got out of high school, I joined the United States military, spent 8 years in the military, and that's where I got my love for firefighting. And when I got out of the military, I joined the fire service and became a firefighter and a medic. And so I had a long career as a firefighter and a medic. And then in 2019, I retired to do this full time. This became too big of a job and too important of a job for me not to do, and not to put as much effort into it as I can to make sure that these parents trust us and save the life of their child. So I was actually in South Africa back in 2013, where I was walking into a church. Now, this was the only church in Cape Town that had baby safe in the side of this wall. Now, there's hundreds of churches, but this was the only church that had this baby safe. And so as I'm walking in, I'm looking at this thing in the side of the wall, and I'm like, what is this and what is it used for? And they said, well, women bring their babies here at night, and they place their babies in this baby safe, and they shut the door, and it calls the pastor, and then someone from the church adopts a child. And I'm like, shut the front door. Like, does this really work? And they had saved 7 babies that year. And so on the flight back from Cape Town, South Africa, 35,000 feet in the air on a Delta napkin, I hand drew my version of the baby box and then brought it to America and started the uphill battle of getting people to wrap their heads around the fact that putting a baby in a box is a good thing if the alternative is a dumpster. And so it was an uphill battle. It still is an uphill battle. We still get criticized for allowing parents to do this. We still get criticized for, saying that we're moving backwards and that we don't offer enough resources for parents. And if you really dig back and you really look, there is tons of resources that are out there for parents. Some of these parents just don't want those resources. And this is the option that they choose, and we should appreciate them keeping their child safe.
Since you started working with this, how many babies have been saved, did you say?
So through the actual box has been 50, and then handoffs is 151. So 201 babies have come through the baby box program.
And can you explain how it works?
Yeah, that's probably the biggest question we get is, what if nobody's in the building? How does it work?
I was like, is the baby gonna suffocate in there?
Yeah.
Put it in there, no one knows.
No. So actually, being in the fire service, I know a fire station. I know how the 911 system works like the back of my hand. And so I took my knowledge of 911 and implemented it with the box. So nobody even has to be in the building, and they're still going to be notified that this box has been activated. And so when a parent walks up to the front of the box, all they have to do is open the door, place their unharmed newborn inside, shut the door, and literally walk away. That's all the parent has to do. It's very simple.
Again, right? Once it's shut, you can't open it.
Correct. It locks once there's a baby inside. So once the parent walks up and places the baby inside and shuts the door is going to lock on her. Now that it is heated on the inside, so it's not like freezing cold in the wintertime and stuff like that. But the average time, this is the part that I'm just so proud of. The average time for a baby in our box is 2 minutes. 2 minutes from the time the parent places the baby in the box to the time the firefighters pull the baby out. Now, a couple of days ago, we had a baby that was surrendered in a box in Kentucky, and they were out. They weren't at the facility. And so when they were notified, they headed back to the facility, and the baby was still pulled from that box in under 5 minutes. And so average time is 2 minutes. The longest a baby has ever been in our box has been 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
And it has these ventilation holes in it, right? So the baby can breathe.
Yeah. Well, it's inside a climate controlled room. And so basically the air is circulating through the box, just like it's circulating through the room.
It is crazy. So do the parents have to worry once they put this baby in the box that they're going to get in trouble? Like,
as long as
ramifications.
If the child, so in the state of Indiana, we'll just use Indiana as a base. Indiana's safe haven law allows for a parent to surrender an unharmed baby that is 30 days or younger. So within 30 days of life, this child has to be surrendered to be legally surrendered under Indiana's safe haven law. And as long as the baby is unharmed and under 30 days, the parent can walk away. literally walk away with no ramifications. We're not going to look for them. We're not going to try to prosecute, nothing. That is their right under Indiana's safe haven law. Now, if the baby was 6 months old, first responders' jobs isn't going to change. They're still going to take care of this infant and take it to the hospital and turn it over to the state. The state might decide to press charges for abandonment because that baby is outside of the legal realm of safe surrender. But I don't think a prosecutor would really prosecute a parent that's trying to do the right thing of a child that's 6 months old, as long as that baby was healthy and unharmed. I think, we're a country of laws, so of course we got to follow the law. But I don't think the parent would get in too much trouble if they did the right thing and surrendered a baby that was a little bit older and they were found.
Yeah, and they couldn't take care of it. It's better than the alternative, right?
Exactly. I mean, if you look at the case out of Kentucky, this past weekend, a baby was found in a duffel bag that was 5 months old, and it was found deceased, and it was just decomposing. And it's like, if that baby would have just been placed in one of our boxes, if the law would have allowed a 5-month-old to be placed in one of our boxes, would that baby still be alive today? And so we want parents to know that, if you find yourself in a situation where the baby's 5 months old, contact us. We will get you every bit of resource available so that you don't have to place your child in a duffel bag and let this baby die. We will help you.
Did they find the mother that did that?
Yes. Yeah. Actually, they've arrested 8 family members. This was a family in Kentucky that had 3 kids taken away from them. They just gave birth to this child, and the Department of Child Services did not pull this child. And now this child is dead. 8 family members have been arrested. I guess we're talking heroin, cocaine, methamphetamines. I mean, there's so many things so many drugs that this family was dealing with that this child should have never been in their care. And it's no surprise that this child ended up dead, especially since the other 3 kids that they had were already taken away.
Is there a lot of stories you hear like that?
And it's sad. It's unfortunate, but yes.
Is there a number that people can call if they're looking for resources?
Yeah.
And is it like a national number?
Yeah, it's the National Safe Haven crisis line, and it's 1-866-99 and then BABY and the number 1. And we're not going to tell you what to do. We're going to give you your options in your area, whether there's a box available, whether you have to walk in and hand your child to a person, if an adoption plan is not appropriate for your situation, or a parenting plan. We're going to give you the options and then allow you to choose, and then we'll walk alongside you on what your choice is. The worst thing that we can do at this point is tell a mother what she should do. I hate when people say, "Oh, I couldn't do that." Well, you should be thankful you're not in that situation, because you don't know what you would do if you were in that situation. And so when we give parents options and they make a choice and it's their choice, they can live with that choice. But if I tell them what's best for them, they're going to always second guess themselves.
Yeah, they usually go against that. What's the oldest age or size that baby can fit in that box?
Well, I designed it for babies 30 days old or younger. But we do have some states that allow for a 90-dayer to be placed in the box. I don't think that would be an issue, a 90-dayer. Any more than that, we're probably going to get, a little bit.
You go in there, there's like a 17-year-old stuffed in
yeah.
there.
Interesting enough, the state of Nebraska, when they passed their safe haven law 25 years ago, they didn't put an age limit on it. They just said, we're opening this up. If you can't care for your child, take it to the fire station. And this one family brought 6 kids to the fire station. They were mostly teens. And so the legislator had to quickly go back and change it and put an age limit on it. But it's like, people are desperate, yeah. Especially when you have kids that don't listen, and that's our own fault, when they don't listen. But yeah, but every state does have a safe haven law, and every state allows for a certain time frame. Most of them are 30 days. We have one that's 90 days. We have one that's a year. That's North Dakota. And so it's best to call us from whatever state in the country you're in so that we can make sure that you stay within the realm of the law, depending on how many days a child can be, the age of a child before it can be surrendered.
Because there's some women that are pregnant that don't tell their family. They hide it from people, right?
That's a lot of the cases. Yes, that's a lot of the safe haven cases. And, this is probably going to shock you, but I talk about this openly. Most of the babies that come through our boxes are placed in our boxes with placenta still attached. These babies are not born in hospitals. They are born in homeless camps, cars, gas station bathrooms. I mean, these are women that have given birth, probably no one knows, and they just go to the closest fire station baby box and place their baby inside. And so what was happening before baby boxes, though, is we were finding those babies in dumpsters and trash cans and stuff like that. So now that we've given women a safe option, an anonymous option, where no one's going to talk to them, no one's going to ask them why, or are you sure, or, you know, whatever, that they can still save the life of their child, and they can walk away and go on with their life.
Now, if say a young mother has a baby, puts it in the box, and then she like, I don't want to do this. What happens then?
So a parent has 30 days to come back. The only state that doesn't allow for a 30-day comeback of a parent is the state of Alabama. Alabama, as soon as that door shuts on that baby box, it is done. I don't agree with that, but that's what the legislator set up. Most states, though, allow for 30 days if a parent changes their mind to come back. It's not as easy as us just handing a baby back to a parent. The Department of Child Services gets involved to make sure that this baby is safe and this baby is going to the appropriate person, you know, the actual parent, and making sure that this baby is going to be okay. And that's important.
So how many states is this box in?
I've got 241 boxes in 18 states.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. And I just wanted to save a few babies in Indiana. Clearly, Christ had a different idea of what he needed me to do. Because now here we are, you know, working on boxes in other countries too. So.
Oh, so you're expanding this to all over the country and different countries now?
Well, you know, I didn't want to do that, but the UK actually contacted. They're having a rash of abandonments, and they have someone spearheading bringing boxes to the UK, and so we're going to partner with them and try and get them there. I mean, we're not about, you know, just putting box. We want women to utilize these boxes. We don't want to find any dead infants, and if Christ takes us to the UK, then that's where we're going to go. But if that's what we got to do to save the lives of these kids, then it's worth it.
Is there an expense for these boxes? How much do they cost to be made? And do they have to rent them once they're in the building? Like what's the process?
So we do a lease program. And the reason why we do that is that we take care of these boxes. We don't want the fire department. We don't want the city or the hospital. We want to make sure that the hospital and the fire station is doing their job of testing this box once a week, doing everything that they need to do on site, but then us taking care of the mechanical side of it. We also upgrade parts. So if something better comes on the market and our engineers feel that this is something that needs to be changed, we can change it, and it doesn't cost them anything. So to do the initial program, it's $15,000, and then it's $500 a year to lease it. Most of these, I'm going to say 98% of all funds that are raised by private donation and fundraising. No tax dollars go into these boxes. Well, very small, I guess I should say, because, you know, some municipalities do pay for it if they feel that they need to have this resource available. But the majority is raised by donations and fundraising. So no tax dollars are being used. We're a nonprofit. So, you know, we don't profit off these boxes. We put them in because this is the right thing to do.
So now what's your goal for the future with all this? What direction are you going in?
Well, you know, I've always said wherever Christ leads us is where we're going to go. I don't have a goal. I don't have a 5-year goal. I don't have a 10-year goal. My goal at the end of all of this is to eliminate infant abandonment. And wherever Christ takes me to do that, that's what we're going to do. And so if he thinks that no other state in this country needs baby boxes and doesn't pave a way for me to get them there, then we're just not going to go there. You know, we don't call locations and say, hey, you want to do a baby box? That's not what we do. Locations are calling us.
But you still have to make them aware that it's there. Like it's an option to have it. So
we do a lot of social media. TikTok is huge. You know, I have almost 1 million followers on TikTok. And we get a lot of the parents that utilize these boxes that seen it first on TikTok. And so we are where they are, where these parents are, what social media backgrounds they're on or platforms they're on. That's where we're at. Because we do have to educate. We do have to let people know that they're available, because these boxes are no good if no one knows where they're at. And so we're constantly out there on social media, educating, but also showing where they're at.
Well, I appreciate you taking the time, and I see you're a pretty big success from where you started.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're very welcome. Anytime you want an update, just call us and we'll be happy to update you on where we are, what we're doing, and where we're headed.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you want to tell them the number again that young mothers can call, or a number for the baby box for people?
Yeah, so you can actually go to our website. It's shbb.org. Both phone numbers are up there, but the number for the crisis line is 1-866-99-BABY1. Doesn't matter what state you're in, whether you have baby boxes or not, we will help you find what resources are available in your area.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
If you like this show, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can get my videos every time they drop. And if you don't like this show, too bad, start your own podcast.